From Blog Mickey, the Morocco Friendship Dock appears to be sinking at EPCOT. Yes, folks, the maintenance, it's just, I don't know where it is, but it's not here. July 11, 2025. Last month, the friendship route changed at EPCOT. The change appeared to be a simple operational change, but there may have been more at play here. Currently, the friendship runs between the Canada Pavilion and the Germany Pavilion. There's these little boats, the friendship is what they're referring to, that actually take you across the various docks that connect, well, previously Future World to World Showcase and, vice versa. Prior to the change, the route ran between the Canada Pavilion and the Morocco Pavilion. In fact, prior to the COVID-19 shutdowns, all 4 docks were in operation, shuttling guests between Mexico and Germany, Canada and Morocco. Recently, operations have changed, and we might have an idea why. While visiting EPCOT recently, we couldn't help but notice that something seemed off about the Morocco Friendship Dock. A closer look revealed that it appears to be sinking, with a portion of the dock dipping below the waterline. The dock was slanted toward the water, dipping into the water just a bit. This is inconsistent with how the dock has looked in the past and what the other friendship docks look like currently. Take a look right here. So here's a kind of a setup shot for what the dock actually looks like. But on closer inspection, you can see right there. We got a little bit of a lean in there. You can see right there. Geez. Yeah, it may have atrophied out there. And the water, by the way, doesn't look that great either. There's
nothing I fear, and my heart will go on.
It's Nolan. That's spot on, actually, right there.
I feel like Swamp Thing's about to come out of that.
That is not a good place to be right there in case you fall in, which I guess these boxes and part of the dock is about to fall in. Guys, what is going on here? I'm trying to figure this out because we've just had recently in the backstage area a huge fire that engulfed basically the entire France Pavilion with smoke. That was horrible. We saw the roof collapse in the Land Pavilion, right? We saw all these crazy things just within the last couple of months at EPCOT specifically. Sewage leaks, all kinds of stuff, and now we have this, guys. Where's the maintenance?
I don't think Disney is going to be winning the Safest Park in America award anytime soon that they give out every year, I know it's already a huge park, there's a lot to keep track of, social media, they're going to identify this stuff. But stuff falling from the ceiling, stuff sinking into the water. We've had Facebook and such for years now. And how's come ever since post-lockdowns, this has been an issue, and yet certain people are getting bonuses. Guest safety should always be at the top of everything. It's more important than your kid getting that hug from Mickey Mouse. It's more important than any beloved attraction, Splash Mountain included. It's about making sure you and your grandma, your loved one, your girlfriend, whatever, you guys get back home safely from your vacation. This is unacceptable. This is literally people's lives we're talking about here. And this kind of stuff is routinely showing up, which identifies that there has to be budget cuts at places like this. Acts of God happen. There's literally precautions about that. But the reality is safety needs to be the top concern. You compare it to other parks. They might not always be as flashy, but you know what? There's a reason they win those safety rewards. And if you start seeing headlines like this, it's one of the clearest ways to clear out your crowds. And it's sad. It is just so sad. Because you know what? He was talking about Bob Iger in that recent Good Morning America interview about this is what Walt would have wanted. This is what Walt would do. Or this was his philosophy. Whatever have you. You know what the number one thing Walt would have wanted? The kids to go home safe. Because it's an unspoken rule.
Well,
safety is supposed to be the first key.
Rule. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that's supposed to be their number one standard is safety. And it also kind of shows the financial state of the company. I mean, you don't have to look at the stock to see, that they clearly don't have the money to hire maintenance people to stay on top of this stuff. For one, for a good show, so it looks nice. And two, for safety. Well, both for safety and looks. And Nolan brings up a good point. This has been going on since post pandemic, because prior to the pandemic, this wasn't an issue.
No, I think they've cut back a lot.
Yeah, and I understand, they took a financial hit, but I mean, come on, I don't even know how to speak to that really, because I get it. You took a financial hit, but at the same time, you act like as though you weren't willing to kind of swallow your profits for at least a little bit. You would have recouped by now. Look at Universal. I mean, there's just no excuse. But Lord forbid, some bigwigs up there don't get their extra bonuses, or those pay raises don't come, whatever the case may be. And it's at the expense of the guest experience and your reputation.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it shouldn't be said because it is so on the nose. It's so on point, right? It should be well known to everybody, maintaining these parks and for operating these parks. But Erika, I'm so glad you said it, because they need to know this. Apparently, that safety is and should always be the top priority. The fact that it hasn't been, in the multiple instances that we've seen where safety has kind of taken a back seat. I'm not even talking about just EPCOT now. I'm talking about like Disneyland. Remember the whole shingle fiasco right there with the Mr. Joe's Wild Ride over there at Disneyland? The speakers falling, lighting rigs falling. Come on, this is just unacceptable. Now docks sinking into the World Showcase Lagoon. That's ridiculous. Ron, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, I know that doesn't sound like a safety issue, but it is the guy that was able to get a drone through security, which is a huge safety issue, because what else can you get through security if you can get a drone through security? I'm not going to, people can figure out what I'm talking about there, but I don't know if you have it, but show the screws and the lighting that they just try to screw back down. I mean, it feels like safety is not so much of a concern when it comes to these parks anymore. Like, look at that. I mean, you're tripping hazards, and, people can break legs on property, and them fixing them with screws. There are so many issues and gosh, this dock sinking, when in the past, I would think that there's some type of daily inspection that they would have had for the entire dock, for underneath it, for the support structures, all of that. And it's fairly obvious over time that, water is going to eat away at wood and different. I mean, that's a pretty regular thing for docks to need to be replaced over time. Pieces of them needing to be rebuilt. I remember both the friendship boats running on both sides, both to Canada, Morocco, and then Mexico and Germany. And it was nice because, depending on where you wanted to go in the World Showcase, it prevented some walking and saved you some steps and maybe some time. And this is so. Walt would have 100% said this is absolutely unacceptable. This is beyond. This was falling down at Soarin'. You have in the resorts pieces of the ceiling falling down at the Polynesian resort, pieces of the ceiling falling on top of people. It's all over property at Walt Disney World, and it's just very, very clear that they have cut custodial budgets and they have cut maintenance budgets, and they just don't have the people to do this. What bothers me, I think, more than anything else is when I see the amount of money that is being put into failed theatrical and Disney Plus projects constantly. They're putting money into these projects that fail, and Disney Plus is not the future of the company. I guess Bob Iger was banking on the fact that it would be, but it's simply not. These parks are where people go to experience Disney. And if you're experiencing a broken dock, if you're experiencing tripping over a light fixture, if you're experiencing a piece of the ceiling falling on your head, or you're simply walking through Epcot and it smells like dookie, then that is not the experience that I would think anybody in the Walt Disney Company, including the CEO, would want. And it should not be happening. Not at a Disney park.
Well said. I mean, that's extremely well said right there. Erika, it sounded like you had something to add to this as well.
No, yeah, it's just devastating because, once upon a time you go to Disney and everything was just so pristine and in place, and just beautifully clean and decorated. And now it seems like you walk into the parks and what you see there now is what you would expect to see at a Six Flags, you know, at an amusement park, not a theme park. And it's, I'm not going to lower the standard down to Carnival yet, but they're well on their way to that threshold
Yeah.
of
yeah.
ugliness and safety. It sucks. It's you're chipping away at my childhood as it is. With your lack of storytelling and your characters are crap. You're chipping away at Disney, Walt himself, though you want to claim you're not, and you're freaking for saying that because anyway. And then your parks, because you want to feed your entertainment side that's failing anyways, and your parks are collateral damage. But yet that's the one thing that's paying your bills, your base bills. And I mean, I understand that Disney back in Walt's era, it was an entertainment company first, and the parks was like a second thought. But that's kind of reversed now. In this where we're at now with the company, it's your parks at this point have to come first because that's what's paying the bills. That's what's putting food on the table. But whatever.
Yeah, I was just want to do a quick comparison, and I'll go away from Orlando for a second. But I recently had the opportunity to go to Dollywood, and just comparing the experience that I had at Dollywood, I didn't see trash everywhere. I didn't see maintenance issues. And this was, well, of course, I was there on the day that Dolly Parton was there, so maybe that was why. But to be fair, like it's just, yeah, it was awesome. And I, I'm very, very grateful for the people that helped out with that experience. So it's a beautiful, pristine, gorgeous park. It's in Middle America. Maybe not as many people know about it as maybe Walt Disney World, especially from around the globe, but it's amazing and it's maintained. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because Disney doesn't seem to realize that people in today's world have options. And the more they keep doing this negative stuff and the more people keep hearing about it, people are going to exercise their options to go other places and take their dollars elsewhere. And, if Iger is so much about a bottom line, if Iger's so much about the money, then the way to make that work is to forget about the money and think about the guest experience and enhance that in every way you can, starting with maintenance.
Yeah, quality.
It's very true. Very true. Nolan, is there any hope whatsoever that Disney turn this around? What would it take for Disney to turn this around in terms of maintenance? I mean, look, we all know what happened with the Paul Bristol era. And unfortunately, people passed away because they deferred maintenance to the extent they did. Does it take that? Can we prevent this? Go ahead.
Oh, yes, because Bob Iger is not an immortal. He will not be on this planet forever. And I don't mean to sound dark with that, but the reality is humans who are incompetent in their positions do not last forever. They either end up firing, retiring, stepping away, or unfortunately passing on. And something will logically have to change for the park. We've already seen Josh D'Amaro making that trip to Epic Universe. He had a chance to see what all the hubbub was about. That's already a better sign than what we've seen with Iger. Now, will he be better? Will he be worse? Will he be more of the same? That can only be in speculation mode. But reality shows that even when things weren't going to according to plan, things pivot, things change. I'm sure Eisner had a very different plan going forward, and it wasn't going to be him stepping away from Disney Company, but we know how a lot of plans he had fell apart and he lost control of the board. Before Eisner came in, there was all the drama going in with what was going on at Disney prior to that. So just because Disney and Iger has a plan of what you're going to expect the next 10, 20 years, reality steps in. And as I was saying, when it comes to like safety concerns, life happens, unexpected obstacles occur and things will change. Will it be a positive change? We can only hope, some of us are more optimistic. Some of us are more pessimistic, but the reality is Iger will not be there forever and something will change. Will it be a good change? Well, We can only hope there are powerful people in powerful positions that will let the creative people out there breathe and make greatness happen, and much like Walt had many years ago.
Great stuff.
Are you
well said.
Are you saying, Nolan? Are you saying somebody needs to come along and make Disney great again?
More like
No
Disney Walt again.
comment on that can of worms.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.